Hi, welcome again to Arthur Brown Photography. As summer seems to have arrived here in the UK, I decided to take my filming outside today, so let's hope the traffic noise isn't too much for you. Today we're going to look at and unbox my new Sigma 35mm f1.4 art lens. That's for the Canon mount. We have the box there. So. I actually went and collected this from a local camera shop yesterday. Now that's something I haven't done for a long time actually. Probably 4 or 5 years since I've actually bought a major piece of photographic equipment from an actual camera shop. I mean, the way the market went a few years ago, most of the local shops disappeared, to be honest, and we ended up having to shop on the internet. And again, it was, price was the important thing, and I'm as guilty as anybody else, buying grey imports from places, in Hong Kong and Gibraltar and that. Things have changed a bit, with the weakness of the pound. A lot of these places seem to have closed down, and some of the camera shops have started to come back again. And I actually bought the Sigma from my local branch of Jessops. Now, for those of you who are not in the UK, Jessops is, or certainly was, the largest photographic retailer in the UK at one time. It went into receivership and closed down, and has now opened up again in a more limited capacity. But they have stores in quite a lot of the big towns now. But I actually grew up in Leicester, which is in the centre of the UK, and I was pretty lucky really, because in the 1960s and 70s we had Jessops, as it was then, who were at the time the largest retailer then, and they had their headquarters in Leicester. I mean, in the late 60s, early 70s, they worked out of a small shop, as you'll see from the photograph, on the corner of Newark Street in Leicester. And you would get queues there on Saturday mornings as I queued up with other people to buy developer and printing paper and take a look at Nikon Fs that I could never afford. Jessops then expanded a bit and moved into a much larger premises, which is an old paint warehouse on Foss Road in Leicester, and this was the Jessops World Camera Centre. And this was a wonderful place in the late 70s, early 80s, because they had huge amounts of stock. So if you wanted to buy anything, you could go in and try it first, which is always preferable. And their prices were good, and I bought a lot of my gear here. I mean, we were lucky in Leicester at the time, because we had Jessops and we had Cecil Jacobs, who are another large camera shop. Again, they went through the same process of expanding nationwide and then going bust. And we also had a Young's camera shop, which was good, which I think I bought my first proper SLR from Young's, which was a Yashica FR camera. I then replaced that with a Canon A1, which was my first kind of professional level camera, which I bought from Cecil Jacobs in Leicester. Well, those days seem to have disappeared, but hopefully we may see a resurgence in the local camera shop, and which means it's great because I can go in and buy something and not have to wait 5 days for it to be shipped from the other side of the world. Anyway, let's now that I rant, we'll go ahead and get on with the unboxing. The Sigma comes in a nice plain package. Obviously save money on a bit of packaging there. No fancy colours and no metallic foils on the cardboard. If I start to open it up now, we've got warranty cards, limited European warranty, instructions in 10 different languages. I hope it's in English as well. And then the lens itself comes in quite a nice nylon case. I'll just put these into the box so they don't blow away. It comes in a nice nylon case, zip case. So this is padded. It's got a foam top, which is a little insert to take the lens mount. So, right, if I take that out, that's the lens unit in a plastic bag. In addition to the lens itself, there's also a lens hood as well, included in the packaging. Oh, bollocks! I mean, the lens itself. The movie recording has been stopped Right, sorry about that, battery died in the camera. Right, where was I? The Sigma 35mm f1.4 art lens, but it's a fairly heavy piece of kit. It's all metal construction, nice rubber ring for the manual focus if you want to manual focus it. It is focused by wire, so it does go all the way around. This is the Canon version, so it's got all the electronic connections for fitting onto the Canon EOS camera. The front element is quite domed, but you can use ordinary filters with it, and it's got a 67mm filter thread, and I have here a 67mm filter to put on, keep the bugs off it. Lens is metal. The lens hood itself is plastic. It's good, it keeps the weight down. Turn and click, it's fairly usual system. It is well made, sturdy. It's quite heavy. It's a good bit heavier than, say, some of the other small wide-angle lenses on the market, like the Canon 35 f2 or the 24mm f2.8 STM lens. They are much lighter. But this, it's not as heavy as Zeiss lens or the IRIX wide angles that I use. The wide angles end of things. Next thing is I'm going to put it on a camera body. I've got here a Canon 5DS, which is 51 megapixel beast. It's probably the largest megapixel camera you can get without going to a medium format camera. Now it's a reasonably big body. Again, this is all metal magnesium construction, so the two together are fairly weighty. But they do handle well. It's well balanced, and I think it's going to be a good combination. My main use for this, actually, I think it's going to be doing kind of portrait work using the Godox high-speed flash unit, because this is say 35mm. It gives me it's fairly good for full standing portraits. But it gives me the ability to use the high-speed flash wide open, so that I can get the background well out of focus, and some nice blurring and bokeh in the background, even using fill-in flash during daylight. The other use for this lens, I think, is going to be good for using for video work on a crop sensor camera, because it's going to give a fairly standard prime lens. Lens length, but with a f1.4. But also the autofocus on this is almost silent. It's probably quieter than most of the Canon autofocus lenses, and certainly probably quieter than the STMs actually. So it would be pretty good for video work, where hopefully my off-camera microphone won't pick up the focusing noise if I use it on autofocus. So anyway, now I've got it attached to a camera, let's go and take some pictures. Right, now we've taken a look at the lens in the round. Let's take some photographs with it. These are taken with the full frame camera, and that's taken at f7.1. This is f8. You notice that how extremely sharp the images are in this mid-range of the apertures. f5. And this one's taken at f6.3, they are extremely sharp. Now if we go back to f1.4, you can see the nice out of focus bokeh in the background. Even f1.4, the detail in this is quite sharp. Again here showing the nice out of focus background at f1.4. Again showing the detail that you can achieve even with the lens wide open. And again this shows a marvellous bokeh in the out of focus area. This one was taken with a crop sensor camera. Bokeh isn't quite so pronounced. There's another one taken at f1.4 with a crop sensor. Right, this is some video taken with a crop sensor camera at f1.4. You can see straight away the problem is the highlights are a bit blown out. Having to use the very wide aperture. I did use an ND10 neutral density filter, but it wasn't quite dark enough, so I'm going to try and get an ND16 and repeat these shots. But you can see that the lens is very sharp on the video at f1.4. Also I did take the ND filter off, and these were shot at f5.6, and that is at 1/50th of a second as well, shooting at 25 frames a second. But it is pretty sharp. I'm quite pleased with the results here. Thanks for watching Arthur Brown Photography, and look out for my next video.